Hello there! Welcome to this new video. In this video, we will be talking about the Fall 2022. But before we start, make sure to like this video, ring the bell and subscribe. Fall is a 2022 survival thriller film directed and co-written by Scott Mann and Jonathan Frank. Starring Grace Caroline Curry, Virginia Gardner, Mason Gooding, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the film is about two women who climb a 2,000-foot, 610m tall radio tower and become stranded at the top. Fall is a 2022 survival thriller film directed and co-written by Scott Mann and Jonathan Frank. Starring Grace Caroline Curry, Virginia Gardner, Mason Gooding, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the film is about two women who climb a 2,000-foot, 610m tall radio tower and become stranded at the top. Fall was theatrically released in the United States on August 12, 2022, by Lionsgate Films. Best friends Becky and Hunter are climbing a mountain with Becky's husband Dan, who loses his footing and falls to his death. Nearly a year later, Becky is depressed and abusing alcohol. She has estranged herself from her father, James, because he suggested that Dan was not the right man for her. Just before the anniversary of Dan's death, Hunter invites her to climb the decommissioned 2,000 feet B-67 TV tower in the desert, where she can scatter Dan's ashes as a form of therapy. Becky at first refuses, then changes her mind and agrees to go so that she can finally move on from Dan's death. The next day, Hunter and Becky climb to the tiny platform at the top of the tower, where Becky scatters the ashes, finally letting Dan go. As they begin their descent, however, the corroded ladder breaks apart, stranding them several hundred feet above the next intact section. Moreover, the backpack with their water and a small drone has fallen onto a communications dish, just beyond the reach of their rope. Despite the remote location, Hunter is confident at first that emergency services would notice the crash of the ladder, but help never arrives. They try to use their cell phones, but suspect that radio interference from the communications dish is blocking the signal. Hunter tries sending a message for help by packing her phone in one of her shoes and dropping it out of range of the interference, but the phone is destroyed before the message transmits. The pair later notice two men camping in an RV nearby. They wait until dark and fire a flare gun they found in an emergency box on the pole. The men see it, but instead of helping them, they steal Hunter's vehicle and drive off. As night falls, Becky notices a tattoo on Hunter's ankle. 143, a numeric code that Dan had used for telling Becky that he loved her. Hunter tearfully admits to a 4-month affair that ended shortly before Becky and Dan's wedding, but Becky is unmoved by her apologies. The next day, as penance, Hunter climbs down to tie the rope to the backpack, allowing Becky to pull the water and drone up to the platform. Becky uses the tower's warning light to charge the drone and sends it with a written message to a diner a few miles away, but it is struck by a truck. Days later, Becky is delirious from the lack of food and water, but in a brief, lucid moment, she remembers that when Hunter tried to climb up from the communications dish, she fell back onto it and was killed. Becky has been hallucinating her presence since then. This part of the movie is kind of surprising and heartbreaking. The next day, Becky is awakened by a vulture gnawing at her wounded leg and kills it to eat. Her strength partially restored. Becky climbs down to the dish, types a text message to her father, then puts the phone into Hunter's corpse for protection and pushes it off the tower. The message transmits, and her father alerts emergency services, then rushes to the tower to console her after she is rescued. A lot of parts in this movie is stressful. All the movie long you would be stressed and worried. This movie is not scary in general, but as you continue watching, the more stressed out you would be, and this is what we like and enjoy in these movies. Thank you for watching this video. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, because this motivates us to provide better contents for you. Tell us in the comments, have you watched this movie? How do you think about it? Did you enjoy watching it? We will see you in the next video, and bye now.